Good evening. Thousands of jobs are to be cut in the West Midlands Police Force, according to the Chief Constable. It means the force will be smaller by 2020 than it was when it was first formed in 1974. It's having to make savings of more than £130 million over the next 5 years, which will result in the loss of around 2,500 jobs, many of them police community support officers. The Chief Constable has said today that neighbourhood policing will have to change. Matthew Bone reports.
Since the 2005 riots, improving race relations has been a priority. In some areas, community support officers have made a difference.
Here in Lascelles, we've historically had issues between the community and the police. These PCSOs are here building relationships, talking to young people, changing the perception they have of the police and, in essence, of the community that they have.
But West Midlands Police is trying to cut £130 million from its budget, and that's bad news for CSOs. Around 80% of the police budget is staff costs, so budget cuts mean staff cuts. Around 2,500 jobs are to go, and hundreds of them are community support officers. By 2020, West Midlands Police's budget could be half of what it was in 2010, and that means cuts to frontline services.
We will continue to offer the protection that we currently offer, but people will notice that the service is delivered differently.
In what way?
Well, less visibility on the streets because the challenges are moving from the street to private premises, more use of technology and different ways of connecting with the public.
So fewer bobbies on the beat?
Yes.
Back in Lascelles, Aspire and Succeed Youth Club gets regular visits from their team of 6 community support officers.
These are the guys that we have the relationship with, and they're a bit more easier to talk with, not being bad, but especially with young people, because they'll have a kick in the park, you know, they'll come to a youth club, they'll have a game of pool, have a game of table tennis. They're kind of really important. They want to build relationships with these young people.
Losing them would be a big blow.
For a neighbourhood like this, I think it'll be devastating because it's about community safety and young people and community safety, and the police are heavily involved, especially the PCSO officers are heavily involved with a project like this.
But with West Midlands Police facing 5 more years of cutbacks, they say budget cuts now inevitably mean staffing cuts. Matthew Bone, BBC Midlands Today, Birmingham.
Well, we're joined now by the Police and Crime Commissioner for the West Midlands, David Jameson. Good evening to you, Mr. Jameson.
Good evening.
These figures are actually breathtaking. I mean, what's it done for morale in the police force?
Well, this can't be good for morale, but I have to say the Chief Constable and I are doing everything we possibly can to reassure the workers who keep us safe, the police and others, and of course the general public as well. But what we've got to realise is the National Audit Office themselves said, and this is an independent body, said that it was wrong that we were being discriminated against by having the sort of cuts in the West Midlands that we're having. Surrey, 13% cuts, West Midlands, 24%.
Okay,
that isn't right.
As it is then, when you were elected as Commissioner, your top priorities were recruiting more police officers and improving neighbourhood policing. This is an absolute body blow to that.
The recruitment is carrying on. But I don't know...
But how can it?
Well, I just don't know how we can continue now, because it's not just the cuts that you've talked about there, about 125 million we were expecting over the next 4 or 5 years. Last week we heard that there could be probably another 20 to 30 million cuts on top of this. On top of that.
Well, how can you do a decent job with so few officers?
We can't. I mean, what we can't do, and you heard the Chief Constable say there, what he cannot do now is do what we were doing before, because we're going to lose by 2020 probably up to half of our budget. You just can't do the same things with half the budget that you could with the full budget.
So what can you do as Commissioner? I mean, can you lobby the government, try and get these figures changed?
Well, we've been lobbying hard, and I've been talking to the local members of Parliament, I've been talking to ministers. We've got a debate in Parliament on the 9th of September where the local members of Parliament are going to raise these issues. We've got a consultation about the funding model. I am putting in the strongest representations on behalf of the people of the West Midlands. But in the end, it's government makes a decision. They've got a programme of austerity. But what people must realise, austerity could have a severe effect on the quality of policing in our area.
What about the public then? They're going to be concerned. How safe are we?
The 999 service and the reaction service, quick reaction, will be secure whatever. I think the real problem is that all the other work the police do in crime prevention, in reassurance of people in their local neighbourhoods, contact with local groups, all that sort of thing is going to be very difficult
Police
to sustain.
without frills.
That's right. It's going to be police without frills. And what I'm afraid of, it could be like some of the European models where you've just got a sort of a response policing, and the other excellent work that our police do could be seriously diluted.
David Jameson, thank you.
Thank you.
Kicked, punched,